Do you ever sit down determined to work for hours on end, but after an hour, maybe two, you're so bored you'd rather die? I had this problem too, but I found a way out. Now I can easily spend up to 15 hours a day working on my business without getting bored and wanting to give up. All thanks to these 5 hacks. So in this video, I'll show you how these 5 hacks allow me to work 15-hour days without getting bored, how you can implement them into your life in just 3 simple steps, and I'll share the secret to making even the most boring task fun to do. But to understand any of these things, you first need to know why we get bored when we work. In the late 70s, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi conducted an experiment that revealed 3 life-changing insights that most people don't know about today. You see, people would carry a beeper that went off randomly 8 times a day, and when it beeped, they noted down what they were doing, how happy they felt, how focused they were, and tons of other things. The results were very unexpected. Firstly, the more focused people were on a task, the happier they were. Csikszentmihalyi called this state of deep focus flow. The second insight is where it gets interesting. His research found that people were in flow only 20% of the time at home, compared to 60% at work. Why? Because work offers more opportunities to focus, unlike passively consuming TV or social media, which is what we usually choose to do when we're at home. So we're generally happier at work than at home. Now thirdly, the craziest part. Participants were also asked, would you rather be doing something else right now? Despite being happier at work, most said yes, they'd rather be doing something else. And meanwhile, when they were at home and they were less happy, most people said no. They preferred to continue what they were doing. And why is this? According to Csikszentmihalyi, because we've been conditioned to not want to work. Everyone looks forward to the weekend or their next vacation, and it's common to hear people that can't wait to get off work because they're tired. So this belief that we're not supposed to enjoy work has been ingrained in our minds because that's how everyone around us talk. So the first hack is to reprogram yourself the easy way. And how do you do that? Well, you see, I recently took on a challenge where I worked like Elon Musk, 100 hours in a week. And I was actually excited about it because I just read Flow and realized that working all day is when we're the happiest. So why not just embrace it? When I shifted my mindset and started thinking of work as something that brings me happiness, not something to avoid and get done with as soon as possible, then I found that I could easily work 15 hours in a day without getting bored. So now you understand the mindset shift that you need, but what about the reason that work feels boring? Because even people that love working can get bored sometimes. Think about it. When you can't get into that flow state, when you get distracted, you check your phone, you look around, that's when boredom sets in. When you're truly focused, you forget everything else. You forget about yourself, your problems, and even the feeling of boredom itself. So the key is focus. And boredom comes from lack of focus. If you're struggling with that, it's probably because you're trying to juggle too many things at the same time. And you may already know that multitasking is a killer of progress, but there's something that most people don't know about multitasking that's ruining their productivity. It's not just about work tasks. It's about everything around you. You need to see everything that tries to distract you as an intruder. A noise in the background? Irrelevant. Facebook is open? Close it. Got 5 work tasks today? Ignore 4 of them for now and just focus on 1. Finish it and then move on. Multitasking is the killer of progress. Don't allow yourself to fall into this trap. Now, this next one is a huge mindset shift. It not only helps you power through 15-hour workdays if you want to, but it also makes it fun. And oddly enough, it can even help you run marathons. You see, during my last marathon, I started off feeling great, but soon I was hit by something I hadn't trained for. The first few kilometers felt like running through an obstacle course designed by nature itself. Trails filled with rocks, roots, and endless ups and downs. And you'd think I would have trained for running on a trail since the race was out in the woods. But anyways, after just 40 minutes, I was already gasping for air, terrified because I had no idea how I would survive the rest. The worst part, we had only covered 5.9 kilometers out of 42. But here's the thing, as I kept going, my energy started to come back. And then I hit another wall at 15 kilometers, and then again around 23 kilometers, and this kept happening. But each time, I bounced back. Even though I felt discouraged early on, I managed to pick up the pace towards the end and finished in a time that was, well, much better than I thought, at least after those first few kilometers. The lesson here that applies to both work and long distance running is this. When you hit a wall, don't stop. Break through it and your energy will return. Just yesterday, I was working a 15-hour day, and with only an hour and a half left, I was so bored I would rather have watched paint dry. But after 10 minutes, I found myself back in the zone. You see, the crucial mistake many of us make is that it's easy to get discouraged and you think, well, this is boring now, as if that's a point of no return where everything will stay boring. But in reality, if you just stay patient, after 15 minutes or less, you'll often find yourself back on track. Now you might be thinking, okay, cool, but how would I even find the motivation and discipline to push through those walls? Well, that's why you have this next hack. It will help you do that, and it's been an absolute game changer for me. Honestly, I'm baffled that more people don't use it. So imagine if, after failing to work a 15-hour day, you would be strapped to a chair and forced to watch Rings of Power for all of eternity. With that kind of punishment waiting, you'd get through those 15 hours without even a hint of boredom. So why not create a punishment like that for yourself? There are two ways you can do this, and the second one is tough but hilariously effective. First, you can get a standard accountability partner. Create a list of tasks you want to get done daily, and make a deal with a friend that if you don't complete all of your tasks every day, you have to send them $10 in the evening. The second option is for a period, where you have a friend come up with something diabolical. For example, you want to work 15 hours a day until your presentation next week, so you tell your friend and he says, you have to work 15 hours every day. If you fail, you have to donate $1,000 to the Flat Earth Society. Or take my Elon Musk challenge, for example. If I didn't work 100 hours in a week, I'd have to eat a Carolina Reaper, which was, up until last year, the spiciest pepper in the world. Now, this last hack will instantly make your work more enjoyable, but before that, here's the bonus I promised. How to make even the most boring task fun. Make it suck even more. If you reward yourself with something fun, like candy or movies, the task feels even duller by comparison. Our brains naturally gravitate towards the more stimulating option, making the work seem even worse. So if you're stuck with a boring task, use your breaks to do something even less fun. Read a dull manual or sit quietly. Your brain will start to see the task as the better option, and suddenly it doesn't seem so bad. In fact, it might even feel fun. Now, the final hack that will instantly make work more enjoyable is a simple prompt that you can say to yourself. Chris Williamson in his podcast shared how he was in a grueling workout with a friend, and as he struggled, his friend said something that completely shifted his mindset. What would this be like if it was easy? And since hearing that, I've started using a similar prompt whenever work feels boring. What would this be like if it was fun? Now, phrasing a question like this is powerful because it gets your brain to start finding ways to enjoy the task. It's all about asking questions that lead to positive answers. Imagine if instead of saying, "What would this be like if it was fun?" you asked, "Is this fun?" The first question makes your brain picture a positive scenario, and the other one just invites doubt. So now you know how to work for 15 hours without getting bored, but the problem is that most people never even get themselves to start putting in the work because they procrastinate and can't get started. And if you do that, all of the hacks in this video are pointless. So to get rid of procrastination forever, watch this video. And don't forget, do that thing you're avoiding today and earn your sleep.